Hello everyone, and welcome to the second episode of Cooking After Dark. I hope you enjoyed the first episode. Please stay tuned. You gotta make sure you like, subscribe, follow. This lets me know whether you're enjoying these episodes or not. So Cooking After Dark, if you don't already know, is my new series where I want to help you transform any environment you are into a romantic atmosphere for you and your loved ones. Tonight's dish, we're going to be making a Wagyu and Pappardelle Bolognese. So what is Wagyu beef? Wagyu beef is like the Rolls Royce of beef. It has Japanese origins and is also known for its marbling, right? Its fat and beef ratio, which makes it very succulent, very tasty. And Pappardelle, it's like a really fat fettuccine noodle. So we're going to be making fresh pasta from scratch. I'm going to show you how to make this. We're going to be making a mirepoix, which is carrots, onions, and celery. We have some red wine that we're going to be adding to the beef and just making a delicious sauce with some herbs. And we're going to finish it off with some penne di sesamo, which is a sesame seed crusted Italian bread that we're going to be using for dipping sauce. So stay tuned because tonight is Italian, and Italian food always seems to set a romantic atmosphere. So tune in tonight as we get started. Bon appetit.
Come on, y'all, you need to pay attention. Pull out your knives and meet me in the kitchen. Yeah, this class is in session. My food on your taste buds will be a blessing. Hold up, can't forget about the sweets, cause dessert is a foreplay and I got the treats.
Alright everyone, gather your ingredients. I like to call this session Wagyu for you. Here we go. First thing you're gonna need is a large bowl to mix your dough in. You're gonna add about 1.5 cups of flour. Make a well in the middle of your bowl. Add a teaspoon of salt. Then you're gonna need 3 eggs. And it goes like this. 1, 2, 3. Yeah, just like that. Then grab a fork or a whisk and whisk them till they're nice and scrambled, just like that. They're gonna stir them until it's well combined in the bowl. Add a 4th cup of olive oil. Make sure you stir it good, okay? Next, prepare your workstation with a little bit of flour and some saran wrap, just like that. We're gonna need this for about 5 to 10 minutes. So pour it out onto your workstation. And you're gonna need, if you've never kneaded before, you're gonna use the heel of your palms and you're gonna push forward on the dough and then back, just like this. Gonna push it to the front, to the back. Gonna mix it real good, baby, just like that. Then go ahead and wrap your plastic wrap around your dough. You're gonna cover it well, and we're gonna refrigerate this for about an hour. Next, get a pot of water, about 3 quarts, add some salt. We want this to be salty like the sea. And this is gonna give your Pappardelle a nice flavor, so turn the heat up and bring it to a boil. So next we're gonna be preparing our Pappardelle bolo. And so we're gonna be making a mirepoix. Mirepoix is a French technique which takes diced vegetables and sweats them to bring out the sweetness in the vegetables. And we're gonna add this to our sauce, which is gonna add some depth of flavor and make it really tasty. So you're gonna take your celery, onions, and carrots, and you're gonna chop, gonna slice, gonna dice. Yeah, I like that. Gonna chop, slice, and dice. You know what? Let's pick it up. Yeah, this is more like it. I like this right here. Okay, I just wanna thank everyone who tuned in to the first episode of Cooking After Dark. I hope you enjoyed it. All the love and support feels amazing. I'm gonna keep doing what I do as long as you keep doing what you're doing. And that's liking, commenting, subscribing, and letting me know you're feeling these episodes. Get a saute pan, get it hot and add some olive oil. Mince 3 cloves of fresh garlic and put it in your bowl. And now you're ready to go. You're gonna grab a spoon and stir the veggies until they come clear. Add some salt and pepper to them until they're tasty. So let them saute for about 6 or 7 minutes until they're tender. And then we're gonna use my favorite mushroom, the morel. We're about to cut our morels. I really love the earthy, woody flavor of the morel. It's a very sophisticated mushroom. You want to let these soak in some warm liquid for about 30 minutes. And once you get them all soaked, you're going to have to strain all the excess water. And go ahead and take your tender vegetables that we sauteed and take them out of the pan. Next, y'all give it up for the star of the show, Wagyu beef. It hails from Japanese cuisine, but in American culture has been bred to make it less expensive in the US. We're gonna go ahead and saute this brown. Go ahead and add some salt and pepper to this. You wanna continue to chop it up until it's nice and ground. If you're not a big fan of red meat, don't worry. You can definitely use ground turkey, or if you're vegan, you can use like an impossible meat or something like that. So use whatever you prefer. It's your world. Make it happen however you want. This is Cooking After Dark. Okay, at this point, you want to just continue to break down some of the large chunks of beef. I have a great little tool I use for straining off the fat. So that's great. It just kind of fits on the side of your pan. You can kind of strain it off. A great little hack for that grease that you have. If you take a paper cup, fill it up with a paper towel, pour your grease in there, let it harden. You can throw it right in the trash instead of keeping that around for about a week or two. You know how that is. So once you've got all your mirepoix, go ahead and add your morels back into the beef. I like to use a dry red wine. I'm using some Shiraz here. Has a nice finish, kind of dry. We're gonna be adding some peeled tomatoes and some tomato paste, about a teaspoon to this. You wanna mix it up really well. You also want to have about 3 cups of chicken broth standing by, and we're just going to pour in about a cup at a time of chicken broth. You're going to pour it in, stir it up. You're going to let it reduce. As the liquid kind of reduces, you're going to add a little bit of chicken broth from time to time. And now for my favorite part, let's make some fresh pappardelle. Go ahead and prepare your workstations. Pull your seat up close, pay attention, because it's about to get real. Here we go. Yeah. So next, you want to grab something to cut your pasta dough in half with. Something plastic is preferable. You're also going to need a roller, and we want to roll this out to about a 1/2 inch thick. Yeah. It is best to have a pasta roller when doing this. Whether you have a pasta attachment for your mixer or a roller, either one is fine, but it just gives such a professional job. And you want to open up the pasta roller to its widest setting, and you want to roll it through maybe about 3 or 4 times. And once it gets nice and thin, you just want to go ahead and lower the setting and just keep running it through until you can get it as thin as possible. And once you got it as thin as you can possibly get it, we're gonna lay it out and we're just gonna fold it on itself maybe about 3 or 4 times. We're gonna trim the edges. Then you're gonna flip it on the other side and trim. You're gonna open it up and you're gonna trim the top and the bottom. Then grab a sharp knife and we're just gonna cut this into about 1.5 inches thick pieces. Pappardelle is known as like the grandfather of fettuccine noodles. It's known for its wide, thick shape. And so you want to cut these into maybe about 6 or 7 inch thick pieces. And I love to use a pasta rack when doing this. Just kind of helps with organization. It also helps with preventing the dough from sticking together. So this is a great tool to add to your kitchen if you don't already have one. Alright, you want to check your bolognese and make sure it's cooking properly. If you need to add a little bit of chicken broth to it, go ahead and do that now. Like I said, you want it to reduce and you want it to be nice and tender. Don't forget to check your boiling water. If you need to, turn it down. Alright, so our pappardelle is pretty much finished. We'll go ahead and set up our boiling station. But first, we're gonna go ahead and take our cheese out. We have some Parmigiana that we're gonna be using with this. We're almost finished, everyone. Just hold on a little bit longer and I promise you your taste buds are gonna be in heaven. So go ahead and drop all of your pappardelle into your boiling water. It only takes about 2 to 3 minutes until it's nice and al dente. You know that it's finished when it goes from that dough state to a nice bite. If you have some rosemary sprigs, you want to go ahead and pull that off the sprig. We're going to mince this up because we're going to be adding some of this to our bolognese. And we're also going to take a little bit of olive oil. We're going to put some rosemary, salt, and pepper. And we're going to use this to dip some bread in. Like I said, there's nothing like crusty bread with Italian cuisine. Okay, after about those 2 or 3 minutes, go ahead and check your pappardelle. If you press on it with your fingers and it kind of holds its shape, it's not doughy anymore, and it's ready to go. You want to go ahead and strain it. You don't ever want to cool pasta down unless you're not serving it immediately. It's kind of takes some of the starch off, and that starch is actually what helps the sauce to stick to the pasta. So if you can, prevent that. Okay, so empty your pot out. I normally take my pappardelle, put it in there, and I add my bolognese to the pasta, stir it together, and then I go ahead and plate. Isn't this looking so yummy, guys, right now? Now, I don't want you to take my word for it. I want you to try this. And even if you don't use red meat, go ahead and substitute, do the turkey, do the vegan. But go ahead and try this, guys, and let me know how it is. Okay, you always want to clean your plate for presentation. And I'm going to take a little bit of my Parmigiana, grate it freshly over my pasta dish. I'm going to mince up a little bit more of my rosemary. I'm going to sprinkle a little bit on the dish. And then we're going to grab our penne di sesamo, our sesame seed crusted Italian bread. And we're going to serve this on the side. So I want to thank everybody for tuning in with your boy, Chef Chris Kyler, tonight. Thank you for sitting with me for another episode of Cooking After Dark. I hope you all enjoyed tonight's episode and my little twist that I added in there. I'm always trying to push the bounds of creativity, so this is what happens when you give me full creative freedom. Good night, everyone.